Hi, today I'm talking about something important when it comes to dating over 60 or 50, where you should meet for your first date. So, first things first, what if you and your date don't live close by? Maybe you live a few hours apart. Instead of one person doing all the driving, you should suggest that you meet halfway. That way it feels fair and neither one of you arrives tired or stressed from a long drive. And here's something to think about. If your date drives a long way to see you, he might not want to turn around and go back home right away. And that can put you on the spot to come up with something else to do, which might feel like a little extra pressure for a first date. I had this happen once where the guy lived 3 hours away, and I said, "Oh, I'll meet you halfway." And he's like, "Oh, no, 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 I have a couple days off, so I don't mind driving." So he came to my town. We had, I think it was a late lunch. And then that only took like 45 minutes. And so after that, he's like, "Okay, well, I don't want to go home yet. What else should we do?" And I didn't have anything planned. And so I knew there was a park close by. So I'm like, "Okay, let's, go for a walk around this park." And so that took like 15, 20 minutes at the most. And so he still wasn't ready to go. And so I thought, oh my gosh, right? So I suggested that we go to downtown and walk on the waterfront. And so we each took our own cars. We got there and we actually had a good time. And we were there probably an hour and a half. And so after that, he was definitely ready to leave and go back home. So again, meeting in the middle keeps it simple and it avoids that awkward situation. Okay, so here's a big one. Avoid those busy, trendy restaurants on a Friday or Saturday night. Why? Because you might be yelling over loud music, other people talking, trying to get the waiter's attention, or even struggling to get a table. And maybe even waiting in a crowded lobby or outside. And this happened to me once. We met about an hour away in this, it was a chain restaurant, and it was wintertime. So when I got there, it was like dark. And the guy texted me and said, "Yeah, I just went inside and we can't get a table. It's packed." So everyone's waiting outside. And he said, "Oh, it's going to be like a half hour wait." So I'm like, "Oh my God, it's dark. I just met the guy." I mean, it's very awkward. So luckily, I looked on my, because I really wasn't familiar with that area, and neither was he because he was driving an hour from where he lived. And so luckily, I looked on my phone and saw a place that wasn't too far away, and we drove. So yeah, so it doesn't make for a relaxed first date if you have to do something like that. So avoid those situations. Remember, the focus should be on conversation, not on fighting to get the server's attention. So that whole situation doesn't make for a relaxed first date. So instead, try a quieter cafe or a casual lunch spot or even a coffee shop during the day. The focus should be on conversation, not on fighting to get the server's attention. When you're thinking about a spot, think about comfort. Look for places with plenty of seating, booths, or cozy corners. And these are great because they give you a little bit more privacy. Sitting at a cramped table in the middle of the room with tables right next to you, can feel awkward. Booths or quieter sections can help you relax more without feel like the whole room is listening to your conversation. Travel time matters. So if you've already had a long day, the last thing you want to do is drive 2 hours for a coffee date. Make sure the location feels manageable for both of you. That way you'll arrive feeling fresh and ready to enjoy yourself and not feel frazzled. Make sure you have the location mapped out so you'll know how long it will take you to get there. Now, if you're looking on a Sunday night and you're seeing how long it's going to take to get there, if it's going to take 20 minutes, well, if you're going to be meeting, after work during rush hour, it might take you a lot longer than 20 minutes to get there. So I always have it mapped out. And then I always like to arrive like 5 or 10 minutes early. That's so I can, check my hair in the mirror, maybe put, lip gloss or chapstick on, and then to just compose myself so I can just relax for a few minutes and get my thoughts together. Because a lot of times, you're meeting a stranger and it can be stressful. And sometimes what I'll do, rather than pulling in the parking lot, I'll pull maybe next door. If there's a place next door, I'll pull in there to do those things because I don't want to pull into the parking lot of the restaurant not knowing that the guy's right next to me in his car and can see me taking these deep breaths and fixing my hair. So just a tip. And then it's also good to give yourself 5 or 10 extra minutes in case, unexpected traffic arises, because that's always stressful too. If you're looking at the clock thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late. Now, this one's simple but smart. Always check the menu before you go. That way, you know what kind of food and drinks they serve, and you won't be surprised by the choices or the prices. And it also helps if you have dietary restrictions. That way, you can look at the menu and see if there's something on there that you can get. And here's another tip: keep it simple. Don't pick some fancy place with a bunch of menu items that neither one of you have heard of. I had this happen last year, and it was so embarrassing. So I picked out this restaurant that I had gone to once before with a friend. It was a South American restaurant. I think it was Peruvian. And the place was so nice. It was fancy. But I remember them having a lot of things on the menu that I didn't know what it was and had to like Google some of the things. And so I met this guy there, and he was taking forever to look at the menu, right? And he finally said, I'm going to have a hamburger. And I thought, oh my God, all these choices, and you're just going to have a hamburger? No, I didn't say that. But he comes back and he says, I'm not getting a hamburger because it's the cheapest thing on the menu. I'm getting a hamburger because that's the only thing I know on the menu. It's like, oh my God, I felt so bad. So yeah, avoid those exotic places and just keep it simple the first meeting. So yeah, a first date isn't the time to impress with exotic food. It's about making you both feel comfortable and getting to know each other. So keep it simple. Now let's talk about the money part. Who pays? In today's world, it's perfectly fine to split the bill, especially on a first date. Now, if your date insists on paying, well, that's lovely. Let him go ahead and pay for it. But always be prepared to pay your own way. It shows independence and keeps things comfortable with no expectations attached. Now, a lot of times, if I think I'm going to see this person again and he picks up the bill, I might say, oh, okay, that's great. I'll pick up the tab next time. So, however you want to do it. But always be prepared to pay. So remember, wherever you meet, the goal is to feel relaxed and getting to know someone new. That's it. So keep it simple and have fun. So thanks for watching. And here's to a happy, comfortable first date.